Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Villarama, and I am from the Higher Education team. I will be discussing the issues of poverty and homelessness in higher education. So, the Higher Education team have addressed the issues regarding poverty and homelessness in the student population in the community college, specifically the West Hills College in Kalinga. I will also be talking about the recommendations that we have provided the Board of Trustees to better assist the students who are struggling and help them in their academics and professional goals. Identifying the problem. What is the problem? West Hills College in Kalinga is dealing with a serious issue that is affecting the success of many students. Poverty and homelessness in the state of California are creating a financial conflict and stress to many adult learners. The Board of Trustees in the West Hills campus need to recognize the problem of housing security for students and how it's affecting their academic performances. The graph provided shows the poverty cycle. So, what is the poverty cycle? A great example is a student who can't afford college, let alone housing and food, will most likely work 2 to 3 jobs. This student will most likely do poorly in their academics and they might take longer in a community college or simply drop out overall. The effects of it will create less job opportunities for this individual and will remain in their socioeconomic status. This cycle will be repeated over and over again. So this individual won't even have a chance to improve their life because their poverty is holding them back from reaching their potential goal and succeeding and moving forward with their life. Continuing to identify the problem, the West Hills College have taken some initiatives to address the housing issues, but they lack the commitment and solid plan to come through. They didn't have the finances sorted out or the support to follow through with the program. Either it's a staffing issue or no students are interested. Make no mistakes, most students don't even know the resources available to them, and the school doesn't make enough effort to publicize it. Just like in any program, plans are made and the best interests are there, but if the commitment, initiation, and passion isn't there, the program usually just dies or be forgotten. And like I said, most people are probably not even aware of the resources available to them to make use and take advantage of it. So this is something that West Hills should improve on. West Hills have taglines that state, "Opportunity starts here," or "Discover your passion." However, how can individuals discover their passion when they're worried about where to sleep that night or what to eat? Students who are homeless worry about how to survive. A lot of these students are looking for opportunities to improve their situation, but they don't have the support or resources to do so. The school needs to do more to better assist their students when it comes to shelter, food, and equal access to education. On the other hand, some might ask if it's the school's responsibility to worry about every student who is homeless. What do you think? Are schools somewhat accountable for student success? What can they do to provide equal access to education so that everyone has a chance to succeed and reach their goals? Moving forward to the background section, here we will cover the problem in numbers, the consequences, and students being on edge. The dream of achieving higher education and improving your future are made possible by community colleges. It is a gateway to advance your education, improve your skills, and help you find better job opportunities. There is a reason why a lot of adult learners choose to go to a community college. It is known to be budget friendly to those who can afford to go to a private college and state university. Students have enough to worry about paying for books, paying for tuition, and paying for facilities that they don't use, such as the gym or the campus clinic. However, without a home or food, it's difficult for individuals to succeed. The problem in numbers. The graph provided on the screen shows that California is in the middle of homelessness in the country. I do want to point out that 25% is in California alone. And in the year 2016 to 2017, there was an increase of 13.7% of homelessness. A lot of this has to do with overpricing of housing, no sufficient job payment or job availability. Keeping this in mind in our presentation, most people go to school to seek higher education, to get a desirable career that pays well. The more education you have, the better you are in the job market. With that said, how much do you think education affects someone's future as far as financially? What's the difference in success of someone with education versus someone who doesn't have it? Coalinga City is part of the Fresno County which reported to have the highest rate of unsheltered homelessness. According to the article from Census.gov, in the year 2016, 76% of the homeless population were reported unsheltered. The graph simply displays that children under 11 suffer the most from homelessness compared to the older population in the year 2000. According to an article from Wisconsin Hope Lab, 52% of community college students experience some type of housing insecurity. And out of this number, 13% are reported to be homeless. Let's pause for a bit and look back during our undergrad years. Was there ever a time where you experienced homelessness? Or maybe you are currently in danger of losing a home security. Put yourself in the student's shoes. How would you want your campus to help you succeed academically and professionally when you're facing this life trial? So for our last slide in problem in numbers, I want to look over the demographic of our subject. According to the West Hills Community College District, 66% of students are in poverty or in financial disadvantage. Now, it was also reported that 65% of students are under the age of 24. On the other hand, the California Department of Education states that 77% of Coalinga High School are in poverty. I included this number to not only show you the poverty line in Fresno County, but to also remind you that these high school students are more likely to be part of the student population attending the West Hills College in the future. This means that there will be an increase in percent of students who are economically disadvantaged. Moving on to the second part of our background section, we will now address the storm of consequences. Homelessness can be very traumatic for anybody, especially young adult learners. First, poor attendance. Most students either skip the class because of housing issues, working too many hours to make ends meet, no proper clothing, which can also result in embarrassment. So, for example, most students who are homeless, they don't have any place to shower and they just keep repeating use of the same clothes. So chances are they get embarrassed to be seen with the same dirty clothes of their peers. Second, course withdrawal. Students drop a course because life gets too hectic and they assume they'll just add it some other time or they have other things to worry about. It happens all the time. Let's be honest. Sometimes we add four classes and we realize that it's an overload, so we drop one course because we'd rather concentrate on something else. In this case, they're concentrating in finding a home or finding food. Third, course failure. Students are not able to pass the course due to missing class or not being able to concentrate and pass the tests. This is very common. Like I said previously, if you're not attending class, you're probably missing a lot of lecture times and you're not able to concentrate, which causes you to fail the class. And lastly, dropping out completely. When you're homeless and hungry, school becomes the last priority. Comparing students who are in disadvantage financially and who aren't. According to West Hill students who are not economically disadvantaged, they have a 10 to 12% higher rate of completing their course. Keep in mind that West Hills College have a 66 student population who are in poverty. So going back to our previous slides, students who are not financially in trouble have a better chance attending class every day and focusing on their coursework. They don't have issues in dropping out or course failure. They most likely have a support system that helped them financially. Homeless students have a hard time focusing in school and getting their work done. Most of them struggle with meeting their basic needs as far as a place to sleep and when their next meal will be. They don't have the resources to succeed as students. According to an article from Wisconsin Hope Lab, these individuals are dealing with mental issues that include depression, anxiety, eating disorder, and suicidal tendencies. I read an article before that students in poverty are often living off eating cup of noodles in their whole college life. They can't get proper meals with nutrients because they're not able to afford it. Or how some students they jump from friends' houses, they either go live in a garage or in a basement of different friends just to find somewhere to sleep, but they never stay in one place. So, another thing to keep in mind, homelessness creates shame. Think about it. How many of us will be open to admit to a friend that we're struggling financially, let alone being homeless? Even if we do confide in a friend and they help us, we feel that sense of embarrassment and how much we owe that person for their help. I don't know about you, but personally, with me, I don't like telling people my business. I'm very reserved. So for me to tell someone that I need money, it takes a lot. So think about these students who are struggling on a daily basis about being homeless. They feel isolated and alone. This negatively impacts their self-image and confidence. They're afraid every day. They think if they're going to make it through, and they feel like they have no control over their lives. So homelessness is more than just the physical needs, but it also affects these individuals mentally. Going back to the poverty cycle, homeless students face a high possibility of experiencing financial difficulties in their lifetime. They are likely to continue the poverty cycle. For example, in average, if an individual is facing poverty or homelessness, they probably struggle in school. If they don't get the support they need in time, they'll probably drop out and focus more on finding the next meal or a place to stay. Without college completion, it makes it harder for them to find a career with a good pay. Even in a regular job, it's so easy to say that homeless people should find a job. But how are they going to create resumes? What clothes do they wear? Where can they clean themselves up? If you were the manager, would you even hire them? Would you even let them in your store? Or would you just make them leave? These are the things that we need to think about when we talk about homelessness. For the last slide for the students on EDGE, I want to point out that housing insecurity and financial difficulties put a lot of West Hills College students under stress and academic failure. The West Hills District states that student performance rate fell more than 8% in the year 2016 to 2017. We are now moving forward to recommendations and solutions. As homelessness and poverty continue to grow, we as the higher education team believe that the West Hills College in Kalinga can offer students more resources and support. On the other hand, I do want to say that the campus has initially started a plan to support the students. For example, they have van services for those who don't have a car or who can't drive. So the students can use this van to travel back and forth so they can get to class. They also have subsidized childcare program for parents, which is basically a more affordable childcare so parents can drop off their kids while they attend to class. So even though these resources are available, they're not helpful for the students who are homeless because they still struggle with the housing insecurity, and it doesn't really help them in their academics. So the current approach, which I find interesting, is that in the year 2016, a law passed in California to have shower facilities available for the community college campus for students who are doing well in school. But keep in mind that most homeless students have low grades due to missing attendance or course failure since they're so occupied finding a place to stay. They can't really benefit from this solution. So even though the state tries to help students, the requirements that they're looking for, such as being in good academic standing, becomes barriers for other students who actually need it. West Hills College in Kalinga needs to support the needs of housing for insecure homeless students. The higher education team recommends to make a financial commitment for a new department to help students who struggle homelessness and poverty. By having a specific team in charge of supporting such needs, students will have an actual contact person to reach out to so they don't feel so isolated. Plus, this investment is also mentioned in the West Hills Mission and Vision Statement, where it explains how the school supports the students to reach their full academic, social, and economic success. One of the recommendations that the higher education team suggests is for West Hills College to partner up with the Single Stop USA. Single Stop USA is an organization that helps low-income students by giving them access to social service benefits. Now, these benefits can range from nutritional program to unemployment insurance and financial counseling. The campus can easily advertise this program to students without isolating anybody. If they're not willing to partner up, at least by advertising it, it will create awareness for everyone, even those who are not homeless, and those who need it can be informed of the resources they can access to. Single Stop reported that in the year 2009 to 2015, they have served about 75,000 low-income students. I think Single Stop is not just a resource for students to use, but it also creates a community. Most homeless students feel isolated and alone. However, if they get involved in this program, they build network that can potentially help them improve their connections, circle of friends, and a support system. In conclusion, homelessness is a serious disease that needs to be treated. Most students who get stuck in the poverty cycle are more than likely to face future financial difficulties. West Hills College in Kalinga needs to act now to prevent future students from dropping out of school due to poverty and homelessness. By partnering up with the right organization, having an actual budget and development plan, the school can have the proper resources to help students who are in need. It is also important to make homelessness a public awareness so that all students from different economic background can help and recognize the need of their fellow peers. So before I end my presentation, I do want to leave you guys with something to think about. Number one, before this presentation, how did you feel towards the homeless individuals? Did your perspective change? And if so, how did it change after watching this presentation? Please tell me your opinions and be honest. I'm really interested in knowing your opinions about it. Number two, what recommendations can you think of to help students who are homeless or suffering from financial difficulties? Just put yourself in their shoes. What if you know someone who is struggling with homelessness? How would you want to help them? How would you help them succeed in their school? And what would you do to make their life easier? The following slides are just my reference page. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And thank you for your participation, and I hope you guys have a great day.